Hey Libras, Island Turtle here. Welcome to BOMISpirit. This is going to be the monthly general reading for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. There's a part 2 over on Patreon. You can also find it on Vimeo. Links are below for your convenience. Please take the messages as they resonate, as I am reading for a lot of people, so I get a lot of different groups that I'm picking up on and having to discern between. So yeah, please just take the messages that are meant for you. Now Libra, I'm going to start with the spellcasting oracle. I just did Scorpio, and it was interesting because in Scorpio, the first thing I heard was the light, the light, the light. And for you, I'm actually hearing the shadow, the shadow, the shadow. And I was like, okay. I mean, in Tropic, we just moved to South Node Libra, so it could be referencing that, especially if you're going through like a South Nodal return, or the South Node is, aspecting like Chiron for you, or your moon, or your ascendant, or, something significant like that. Oh, my throat's getting tight as I'm talking to you. Libra, can't sugarcoat anything, right? But I feel like you're being asked to be strong right now. I feel like you're being confronted with something, whether it's an actual confrontation from another person, or something that's just potentially challenging, but I feel like you're being asked to be very strong right now. And it doesn't mean like neglect how you're feeling. It doesn't mean suppress your feelings. It's almost like a rise to the occasion to meet the challenge where it's meeting you, right? And to like not back down from it, like look at it in the face. Yeah, look at it in the face. Now Libra, you're Libra. Oh my God. I was like super fine in Scorpio, and like starting to talk, it's like my throat is getting really tight. You might be having a lot of issues communicating or feeling like you can't express yourself. That's how it feels. Like the more I talk, the more the energy is like constricting. Now Libra, you're Libra. You are the scales, right? And I'm kind of feeling this push-pull with you. Like, yeah, like extreme expressions of energy. Like, for example, like the difference between like being a workaholic and being really lazy, right? Like really polar opposite forces, I think, are going on with you. And I think this is part of the challenge you need to meet. Now, it could be within or it could be without. I honestly feel like it's without. Like, excuse me, I feel like you're being confronted with it very much so in your physical reality. Now, again, this could be internal. You could be being confronted with these polar opposites of self, or these two conflicting truths, or these two very conflicting desires. It just feels like conflict is what it feels like. And Spirit's asking you to meet this head on, face to face. Interesting, head on, because that's very Aries, which is the North Node right now, right? We have a lot of Aries energy too going on with Chiron, especially. But yeah, I feel like you're in this tug of war with two very opposing forces, whether these are aspects of self or it's you and something outside of yourself, like a person or a job or whatever. But it's two extreme ends of the spectrum here. And it feels like a fight, it feels like conflict, it feels like tension, it feels like resistance, but you're being asked to be strong through this, to reach resolution. I'm using the spellcasting oracle. Sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that. I just got lost in the channeling. But let's go ahead and pull some cards, okay? Suddenly I'm really itchy. Actually, you know what? Let me get a sip of water. Oh, almost slipped right out of my hand. Okay. Okay. All right, Libra, let's get... Okay, when I get energy like this, where I get like fidgety and itchy and restless, it's usually indicative of the energy that you're experiencing, like, which is an aggravated energy, aggravated, restless kind of an energy. I feel like there's a desperate need for some kind of resolution, or for something to just not be an issue, to not feel stressful, to not feel confusing, to not be this like fight of these two polar opposites. I mean, you are Libra, right? You do like to balance things. Maybe this isn't about balancing. Maybe this is about making a choice. I know, Libra, tale as old as time. Do not ask me to make a choice. Can I just hold both? Clearly not. Clearly, like what Spirit is saying is like, there can't be this fight or this pull between these two polar opposites. That's how it feels. It feels like these two cannot exist in the way that they are right now. So that could be it too, Libra. Like whatever these two polar opposites are, whether it's you and another person, or it's like two different truths that you have in your mind, or two different ideas or wants or desires you have for yourself, or maybe literally two aspects of self. Maybe it's not about the fact that it's like you have to choose one. Maybe it's more like they can't be so extreme, right? They can't be so extreme. This is gonna be an interesting reading, I can already tell. All right. Any messages or insights for my Libra? And that's what they keep saying too. Like they're being very clear, like meet this head on, meet this head on, meet this challenge, rise to the occasion, look at it in the face. Like the message is very, very stern and very clear. Like this cannot be a soft approach and it can't continue as it is. Who am I reading for? Any messages or insights for Libra? God, it just has this like fight, fight, fight kind of energy to it. Any messages or insights for Libra? Well, we know why that's here, right? When you have this kind of tension and fighting forces, it creates restriction. It creates restriction. That's why, I mean, honestly, that's why the Freedom card is here. It's pretty clear. It's just too restricting. It's too restricting. This could also be a case, Libra, of like trying to have your cake and eat it too, right? It's like you can't have it both extreme ways, or two extreme expressions of this energy can't exist the way it is. You and another person, or you know, like desires that you want, or a choice that you need to make. Like there needs to be a coming to the middle to kind of dissipate this energy, right? It is a balancing, but like the way I was feeling with you, like the way I felt like you were wanting to balance it, is just to have it coexist, but it can't coexist as it is. Something needs to shift or change about this to like mellow shit out, right? Look, we got career. Pretty clear, right? Career comes out when we're talking about money or our vocation, or how we make our income, how we support ourselves, maybe even like passion projects. But yeah, Libra, so a lot of you, this is going to be affecting your money, your household situation, what you do for a living, that sort of deal. Some of you, this could be a decision between doing a job that's consistent and reliable versus something that makes you really happy, right? You can't exactly have both of those coexist. There needs to be a coming to the middle, like finding a way to bring in what you want to do with a passion and to have it be something you can consistently earn money off of, right? Just as an example. Anything else for my Libras? Yeah, Libra, I feel like this is so much about the nodal energy, because I feel this call to be like, rise to the occasion, follow what you're passionate about, like live authentically in your truth in that like Aries-like way. But the Libra, it's like the extreme expression of like the South Node Libra is like self-sacrificing for others, which would mean self-sacrificing your passion and your truth and your authenticity, right? Just to keep the balance, just to keep things consistent. But you can't do, that's what Spirit's saying, like you cannot do that right now. Like this is going to be a lesson for you, Libra, in how to incorporate the Aries within, how to incorporate more of the you, the individual, the assertive one, right? The one that's not afraid to say things or change things or do things while somehow maintaining your Libra-ness and desire for harmony and consistency and balance and the right thing, right? It's not about completely getting rid of that one end of the spectrum, but it's about getting a little closer to the other, right? Balance. But I feel like it's like, yeah, I just feel like it's so extreme. Can I get one more for Libra? Well-being. Oh my, oh my, oh my. This card to me coming out is all about self-care. How are you faring with this right now? It doesn't feel good to me. Whoever's resonating with this reading, this whole black-white end, like this expression versus this expression, like it's like the opposite of like love and fear, right? It's like, which are really two sides of the same coin, but that's what I'm saying. It's like when we're talking about polarity like this, polarity needs to exist, right? It's just a thing. It's just how this reality works. But if you sit in one end of the spectrum so extremely, it creates imbalance, right? This is about coming to the middle, but maybe coming to compromise, harmonizing, coming to the middle in a way that you're not used to, or you're being asked to be like, hey, on this particular spectrum we're talking about for you and however this is resonating for you, that side of the spectrum is something that you feel really repelled against, or you've had a hard time embodying yourself or compromising with. I feel like it's literally asking you, I feel like Spirit's literally asking you to like embrace Aries, not Libra, in order to balance like Libra. But that's melding the two together. That's coming to the middle, right? Yeah, I keep feeling like this is indicating how much more. Let me back up. Improve. I'm getting the word improvement. That's why I'm trying to like phrase a sentence around that word that I'm getting. I'm getting the word improvement. How you can really improve in how you're feeling in your self-care and in looking out for yourself when it comes to your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, financial health, with career potentially. Because the way these two polar opposites are existing right now, it's too extreme. It's too extreme, and it's creating restriction, and it's like clogging up the energy. Again, whether it's between you and a person, or it's these like different wants or different desires or different aspects of self. They keep bringing it back to the career card. This seems like a huge indicator that your financial situation or what you do for a living is greatly affected by this or impacted by this. Wow. All right, let's go ahead and pull some other cards. I'm going to use the... Ooh, am I? Wait. It's like, wait, I think another deck wanted to talk. No, use this? Okay, yeah, we're going to use this. Okay. The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. All the decks that I use are linked below. This is about doing things differently, which is why it's uncomfortable. When we're asked to do something in a different way or take on a new perspective or new approach, right? Even if it's to achieve the same thing we would have done it the other way, right? It's like you're trying to balance this, right? It's like you don't want this tension, you don't want the stress, you don't want to feel restricted, you don't want this polar opposite fight kind of going on, right? Within or without. Oh, I just got dizzy saying that. But the way that you're trying to go about it, all this energy is trying to evolve you past how you normally do that. Even if it's you're trying to get to the same result, this is about doing it differently. Yeah, I would really see like how the nodes are affecting you right now as far as astrology is concerned. Like what it's aspecting in the chart, like a specific planet placement or a specific house. One more. Okay. Any other messages or insights for Libra? Every time this card comes out, I feel like I have to go, ooh, like I feel like I have to breathe a little bit. Panther. Tension. Panther comes out when we're having a catharsis of tension or catharsis of frustration or anger or pent up energy, right? It wants to be released, Libra. It can't hold the way that it's been. It cannot. Whether, again, this is between you and someone else, or this is a total internal process of I want this and I want that. I'm just going to hold on to both, but you can't. Not in this extreme way. They keep saying it's extremes, is what they keep telling me, right? So like, for example, if it's you and another person, maybe it's literally like your day and their night, right? And it's like, it's about finding common ground, but the tension wants to be released. The tension is like, let me out. Let's cut the rope. Let's mellow this shit out a little bit. Oh, I keep hearing the shadow. Some of you guys is definitely coinciding, with shadow work. really taken a look at yourself as to why this is even happening, right? Why is there this tension? Why is there this frustration? Why is there such difficulty in compromising or balancing or bringing in this other aspect of self, or, you know, like mellowing this out? Like, why is this so difficult? I really wanted to say, because it's like the way you've been going about situations like this, it's what will keep the peace the most, or what, or where you can sacrifice yourself, even just because it's easier to do that than to maybe lean into the Aries and be a little bit more aggressive and confrontational and a little bit more assertive of like, no. Right? No. Here's where I exist. Here's where I stand, and let's figure this out, right? It might even be you fighting yourself in that way, where you're like trying to do the like self-sacrificing thing, or like stay where you've been, or stick with what's familiar, and your soul is like, no. Sorry, that was really loud. And your soul's like, no, we're not doing that. Nope, 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 nope. I'm not gonna let you. Not gonna let you, and I'm gonna make you uncomfortable until you realize that. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. Anyway, moving on. Can I get another for Libra? Yeah, it's going about something a different way. Can I get another card for Libra, please? Whoa! Am I taking? I guess I'm taking this too. It wanted to come out. Lots of air. Look at that. Bat and eagle on the career card. I like the eagle came out here with bat, because they both kind of speak to cycles. Bat is a transitionary energy in this deck. It's going from the dark to the light, seeing the light in the dark, but it also speaks of times and periods of change and transition. It's like the midpoint between A and B before you get to B, but it is from the shadow to the light. And then we have eagle, which is about the beginning and endings of karmic cycles and lessons. And this is all around career. This little fight that's happening, right? We'll just call it the little fight, because I feel like it's happening in a lot of different ways for you. Some of you, it's purely internal. Some of you, it's literally like needing to fight it out with another person or relationship or a situation outside of yourself that deep down you feel restricted by. And a part of your soul's like, we got to do shit different. We're not going to do the same thing we've always done over and over and over. Hence also why eagle is here, right? So whatever's panning out there is affecting your financial situation, or it's connected to it in some way, almost like you need to take that lesson into what you're doing for a living, or how you're approaching your work, or how you're approaching your money, because it's going to help you. Like, God, how do I want to say this? It's going to improve your relationships in anything that you do. But I feel like this is more about embodying more Aries, embodying more of that assertiveness, not so self-sacrificing or people-pleasing, right? And if you can own that, if you can, you know, cultivate that tool and like, oh, here's a new tool that I have, a new tool for life, you can actually change a lot when it comes to whatever your career situation is, your financial situation is, for the better. Something's going to shift as a result of that within your financial career sector of life. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. Let's look at well-being. Can I have another card for Libra, please? That damn octopus. I want to get one more. Can I get one more for Libra? Wow. Octopus and hawk. You have hawk and eagle in the same spread. For me, that's a very important thing. Not necessarily in the context of this deck, but for me as a reader, for me with what I've seen and experienced in my life, eagle and hawk I look at as the dynamic duo of divine masculine, divine feminine, is what I look at when I see the hawk and the eagle. They're both very strong, powerful, divine messengers. And in this deck specifically, eagle is about the beginning and endings of karmic cycles and going for it, taking it, being led to it, or having it thrust upon you. And then hawk is more about letting spirit guide you and lead you. I look at eagle as the feminine and hawk as the masculine. But anyway, the fact that hawk is here with octopus on well-being, for those of you guys who are new, octopus is like the devil to me. in this deck. It speaks to codependencies and attachments and restrictions. Octopus in and of itself is not a bad energy. Octopus is very friendly and very intelligent, has very good intentions. Octopus is also very intelligent, but in this deck specifically, it speaks to attachments and restrictions, unhealthy things, right? Things that have kind of got a hold on us. Hawk is trying to guide you away from that energy when it comes to your well-being. So it's exactly what I was saying. When it comes to self-care, how you're taking care of you, how you're looking out for you, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, there's some stuff that needs to be addressed here and worked on. For some, this could be straight up addictions. Others of you, it's the self-sacrificing, it's the people-pleasing that leaves you depleted or in not the greatest energy to be looking out for yourself or to be making the best decisions for yourself. And again, ego coming out here, very indicative of like the world card. Like, hey, we got some life lessons we got to close out here. Okay. There's a lot going on in that octopus. Some of you may be battling addictions, vices that you are enslaved to. Sorry, I hate to say that, but it just is what it is. Like, how do I want to say this? There's nothing wrong with indulging. There's nothing wrong with, the Venus way of life. But there is a difference between, I'm going to go and have a drink with my friend, versus I need to come home and have a bottle of wine, or I need to have a glass of wine every day. There's a difference between want and need, right? Some of you are using vices or things that make you feel good or bring you joy as a way of kind of like false grounding, like to balance yourself out, but in a way that might be distorted and unhealthy, in a way where it's actually a dependency. Or you feel like you actually couldn't like not do it. Excuse me. See the energy moving? But either way, this is about you learning to take better care of yourself, prioritizing you, your truth, and asserting yourself, that Aries-like energy, right? And not being so much in the shadow of Libra, which is people pleasing. Your soul is not happy with that. Your soul is not happy with that. Your soul's like, we're not doing this shit anymore. Okay? Some of you, it's people pleasing like that and like needing to assert yourself. And others of you, it's literally leaning too far into like your Venus energy. Like Venus represents intoxication. That's what it represents. Intoxication. And that could be euphoria and bliss, or that could be like getting drunk, right? So some of you, it's like it's relying too much on these very like shadowy Venusian ways that just make you feel really good, that leave you actually not taking very good care of yourself in order to do what you want or need to do. Okay? Okay. And okay, they want me to speak on that more. And for those that you identify more with that group, where it's more about indulgences and addictions versus people pleasing and needing to assert oneself, because those are two different things, right? So if you're identifying more with this latter group of addictions, attachments, vices, that sort of deal, it's almost like the battle is like you're ready to go do things or like change things or have like new experiences or be free, but then these attachments hold you back, literally. Okay. All right. We're going to move on to part 2. If you are leaving us here, I hope this was helpful and enjoyable. And if you're and if you are joining us in part 2, I'll see you guys very soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment. Everything's listed below for your convenience. And